Welcome to How to Get Better at Call of Duty, the Basic Guide, Episode 7. Now, the last episode we covered the margins and how it relates to the center of your screen and how that helps you, your peripheral vision, and keeps you focused on the center of gameplay. Now, this episode we're going to talk about margins that have nothing to do with the setup and gun setup for the next game, for Black Ops 2. Now, I want you to understand that this How to Get Better at Call of Duty isn't for everybody. So really, there's no point in leaving negative comments. If this stuff doesn't help you, that's fine. It may help some other people. This is for people who love Call of Duty. So please, if it doesn't help you, it's better not to just say anything at all. Okay? Thank you. So let's move right along. So in Episode 7, I wanted to cover the vertical and horizontal edges of your monitor or your television screen. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that when you're running the Hauppauge, a lot of people run the Hauppauge like I do, and the Hauppauge runs at 720p. Now, if you're going to game and you're really serious about what you're doing, you want to straight from the modem. You want to run straight from the modem and then go HDMI 1080p. Now, the reason being is this. Now, we talked about the margins coming in from the right and how that peripheral vision helps you, and you don't have to take your focus off the center of the screen if you move everything over to the left margin. Now, what happens is, if you have HDMI cables and you're running HDMI, and the reason why professionals use monitors, not only for the millisecond response time from your controller to your gun, is the fact that you get more vertical and horizontal lines. And what that does is it brings in the margins without the options. So if you're running 1080p, these sides will come inwards because there's more lines of resolution. So everything will come in, and then everything out here will go out even further. So the margins will come in on the sides. So what happens is a lot of times people will shoot you and you're like, damn, I didn't see that guy. Well, you may be on a 480p, you may be on a 1080, you may be on a 480p 10 or 480i, or even a 720p. But the person you're playing against may be on a monitor which is at 1920, 1440, 1080p. And what that means is we're talking like a couple of inches. And so where you think that's why this is an important guide for everybody. Where you think that, this guide may not help you to understand is somebody might be playing on a higher resolution screen and they may see you before you see them, and therefore you will die. That's one of the huge things that people don't realize, is that not everybody is playing at the same resolution. So there'll be a lot of times that somebody will catch you out of that peripheral vision based on margins that they might not, and you may not realize. So one person may be at 720, the other person might be at 1440. You don't really know. So those are huge advantages. I think the best advantage is to run 1080p, because now they got the new Hauppauge is out. The new Hauppauge, the HD PVR2, which runs straight HDMI to the Xbox, which it doesn't do for the PS3, which is a huge advantage, and it's about $40 cheaper than the original Hauppauge. So you can run the Hauppauge 2 with HDMI, and a lot of people run it constantly, and that way you don't have to unplug it, and you get better resolution, and your margins come in. So let's move right along now. Okay. Now, the first thing you're going to realize is when you're going into the next Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is that you're going to need to know what setup to use from the beginning. Now, there's a couple of setups that you want to set yourself up with. One, are you a person that likes to camp? Two, are you a person that likes to rush? Those are the two basic needs in which you need to evaluate yourself. So let's just say, for example, and then there could be the third case where you're like a person that rushes, you pause, you rush, you wait for things to develop, and then you move forward. Those are basically like the assault players. So let's start off with primary weapons. Now, when you're picking a primary weapon, you have to realize this is the important thing of who you are and where this puts you at, because this is the toughest part of these episodes that I'm going to try to teach you to understand who you are. First of all, you have to figure out, you know, what you are and who you are and what your capabilities are based on the last six episodes. So if it's based on what you have. If you don't have the proper resolution, the headset, the controller, you are put into a situation where you are limited to what you could be. So this is a thing you have to realize and not get frustrated about, because if you're in a bad connection, if you're on a slow connection with a shitty TV and a bad controller, you know, you're mostly going to wind up being a person who camps lines of sight, because you're not going to have the option of people who have all the utensils at their disposal to rush constantly. These are the things you have to realize. So this is important part of the transition. You really have to go back and watch the other 6 videos to understand what I'm talking about at this point in time, in order to figure out what your capabilities can be, not what you're trying to force yourself to be, but you don't have the right gaming utensils to be that person. So let's talk about the classes. This is important. This is important part of the episode. So let's go ahead and start talking about the classes. Now we have the assault class, the SMG class, the assault class, the submachine gun class, the light machine gun class, the snipers, the shotguns, and the riot shield. Obviously, there's certain things that, you know, in the game that, you know, you could use. I mean, obviously, I don't know why the riot shield's its own class, which makes I don't understand that, but that's in the game, so that's just the way it is. So, anyways, let's go ahead and start with the assault class first of all. First of all, your primary weapons. That's the most important thing. So you have primary weapons. Now you'll notice the order of these primary weapons. Now you'll see M4, M16, SCAR, CM901, Type 95, G36, ACR, MK14, AK-47, and the FAD. Now this is the reason why I'm pointing this out the way it is because it's not always laid out like this in every Call of Duty. And what I mean is that just because you unlock the M4 in the beginning doesn't mean it's the worst weapon. No, all the way down to the FAD doesn't mean it's the best weapon. So you have to realize this. You would think that based on the way you would unlock these weapons, that would be the case, because you've earned those rights to unlock those things, but that's not the case. And it makes sense that you cannot have somebody that's coming new to your game pick up the M4 and can't kill anybody, because therefore it would stunt the growth of the game and nobody could play, and they would just drop the game and your game would die. So you have to have a fine balance there as a developer, you know, which weapons work and which ones don't. So the assault rifles are this. Essentially, in every Call of Duty game, the assault rifle's supposed to kill in less bullets. So when you use the assault rifle, it is a heavier character movement. That means the character moves a lot heavier, and I'll show that in the next. When we go on to number video episode 8, I will cover this more. You know, I'll give you examples, and we'll go over that. But I just wanted to go over every class right now and then go from there. So we have the M4, which is an automatic. And then we have weapons like the M16, which is a burst weapon, 3-shot burst. And then the SCAR is an automatic, the CM910 is an automatic. Now I'm using these as an examples of weapons, and these are basically the same layouts for every Call of Duty. Now they may be different. There may be 8 assault rifles, 7, 6, We will cover those things, and you can make the adjustment from there. But the overall gist of this is to basically go through and learn, and this is an important point, is to go through and play every single weapon. Don't get stuck on one weapon and then only use that weapon and then not learning anything else, because there may be a time when you need to adjust your game in order to go up against somebody else with a different weapon or a combination. And that'll be in some advanced training. But that's it for today. 2 days from now, we'll go into more detail. This is going to be a very long series segment covering the weapons in detail, because I want you people that are trying to learn this to grasp what I'm feeling. And I'll try to show some examples of that, maybe show some examples in gameplay so you can get my idea and what it means. And this is going to be a deep section. So I want to leave it there, and we will see you 2 days from now, or another day from now. Anyways, it's your boy Fist. Peace! I'm out!